Hello and welcome back. And yes, I'm back in the kitchen because I'm going to do a little bit of cooking. I'm going to make some meatloaf, take it over to my son and his wife because they're in isolation, and more about that in a minute. Okay, so here in Melbourne, we're in lockdown again. It's number 5. Maybe we get the 6th one free, just like a coffee card. It was meant to be a week, but it's looking like it is now going to be until at least next Tuesday, so it's another week. Okay, it's just what happens. It's a lousy day, it's raining. Don't mind the rain, but it just means that it's not much fun to go out for a nice long walk. And also on top of that, my younger son, who lives here, is in isolation, or he and his wife are in isolation because they were within a few people, it's called a close contact, of a person who was infected and they went through the turnstiles at a sports game, and he or she, don't know which, was I think probably just not far behind them. Anyway, they now have to self-isolate for 14 days, so I think they're not quite halfway through, but it's pretty hard work and they are desperate to do normal things like go for a walk and things like that, but it's okay, they will be fine. They've done it before when they flew back from the Philippines right at the very beginning of all this. They did it for 3 weeks because nobody knew really how long it took for you know, that incubation period. So now we're fairly confident about 14 days would catch most people. So here we go, lots of fun, and I'm making them some dinner. I made them some soup last night, yes, the magic chicken soup, and because they like it. And tonight I'll drop over, just drop, believe me, just drop at your doorstep and back away and wave and leave anything. And tonight it's meatloaf, and I'm halfway through thinking about cooking it, so I suddenly thought, oh, I may as well bring you along and have a chat and we can see what we've been doing and catch up. And yeah, motivation, that's what I'll talk about, because motivation is something you really have to put muscle into when you're in this situation, and we've all been there. It's across the world, we've all done the same thing. So right now I'm going to just get on with this meatloaf, and then I'm going to talk about how I get myself motivated, because boy, some days it's really hard, and today was one of them. So I just chopped up a couple of onions. I've got a couple of, these are really wonky carrots, but they're the last of that batch. They were the only ones that they had. I would have called them horse carrots because they used to buy them in the big bags for the horses, but yes, they are clean. I've washed them. Maybe I could scrub that one a bit harder. Anyway, I'll give them a quick rinse before I grate them. They're just bulking up the meat, basically, because this is just what I had, and it's one of those, you know, what you have in the house thing. Here we go. For those of you who like to see what things cost, this is a grass-fed mince, which is, you know, it's hamburger meat, or I don't know, ground meat, whatever, and it was $10, $9.50. So there you go. That's that, and that's half a kilo, so it's 500 grams. But it's a decent quality. It's not super fatty, but the fat that's in it at least is, you know, grass-fed and not full of added hormones, and it is free to walk around in a paddock, which is quite nice for an animal that's meant to do these things. Okay, there we are. That's something for you. Then it's just all the standards. Worcester sauce. I know it's a monster, but it's just Worcester sauce. Tomato ketchup, bit of mustard, a few things, a stock cube, some garlic, and an egg to bind it together. And in here I've got just a bit of a mix of panko crumbs and rolled oats, and then I'm going to just pop them into these, and each one of these takes 2 ice cream scoops to fill them. How easy is that? Okay, let's do it. And yes, I'm using my food processor because some days it's a good idea. First I'll do the onion, and then that can sit and soak up, and the crumbs and the oats can soak up all the juice. It helps that I turned it on, doesn't it? See, I've got lockdown brains. Right, I just re-washed those because I obviously didn't do it quite as well as I thought I had. Happy to get rid of them. They weren't tough, they were just odd shaped. So what's in here? Well, obviously I haven't washed it because I've just grated the onion and the carrot in there, and it's all going to end up in the same place. I've got the beef, I've got 3 garlic cloves, well they were small, 2 would have been fine if they'd been bigger. And a bouillon cube. In comes 1 egg, the Worcester sauce. If I can get the top off. Is this a new one? Okay, the short answer was yes, it was a new one, and I've never been able to get it open. I'll show you what I open them with. Now, after giving it a good shake, I then just give a good shake. I know, I like it, it's a great flavour. This is what I use to get all those unforgiving nail breaking, and my nails are so weak anyway, and they're always so short because they're so weak they peel. This is an oyster shucker. I know, best thing ever. Great for oysters, obviously, but it's also a really strong blade without being sort of scary sharp, and great for opening all sorts of things. And you can see, this is a fairly random, you know, what flavours shall we have today sort of thing. And we'll put some more of this and the ketchup, the sauce on the top, tomato sauce on the top, but a little bit of this goes a long way. Reminded me to put in some Dijon, so this is just ordinary Dijon. Just anything to add flavour really at this point. I'm just going to give that a slight buzz. Oh, and you know, it helps if you put the blade in. Would have helped if I put the blade in before, wouldn't it? Because now this is going to be fun. There we are. It's all going to get squashed anyway. It's just a bit ooey. Okay, so I'm just going to buzz that, and then I'll add the breadcrumbs. And so I have the mixture. I have an ice cream scoop. I'm going to just pop some oil in here first. I'm going to smooth it round. I mean, it is a non-stick pan, but even so, start rubbing it around. And as I said, 2 of these fill up 1 of those. So I'll move that a bit. See? And then I simply take a little sandwich spreader, and I pop it all down so it's sort of compacted a little bit. Now, the usual, we just put a bit more on top. Call it a glaze. I'm not going to add brown sugar to it. It doesn't need any more sugar. This is like chocolate syrup anyway, but it does make a nice little soft glaze on the top that's tasty. Now they go into the oven at 180 Celsius, which is, I think, was 350 if I remember, Fahrenheit, for say between 25-35 minutes. Just check. Now, just before I put the kettle on, because it's noisy, I wonder if you remember that I had a jar with lemon and tangerine or mandarin peels in it, and I added some white vinegar to it, and I was making that as a homemade cleaner. Well, here it is. Well, actually, that's the, what should we say, the juice that comes off it, just completely straight. And so I've had 3, this was full, and I've had a third and a third, 2/3 rather, used up now, and I just put a third in this bottle, top it up with water, and a squirt, literally less than a teaspoon of dishwashing liquid, far less, just 1 little squirt, maybe half a teaspoon of dishwashing liquid. It is such a good cleaner, and you can use it inside your fridge, inside your pantry, cleaning your microwave, doing your benches, doing your chopping boards, anything where you have food coming into contact with a surface, and almost free. What, 10 cents maybe 10 cents worth. A bit of faffing around by the time I've made my tea and changed the battery because it's flashing at me. Yeah, if you hear a noise, I have got the heating on. It's a chilly day. It's about 7 degrees Celsius. It's a bit chilly when it's raining. It's just a miserable winter day. Right, let's have a quick chat about things. Hair, obviously. Whoa! The day before we went into lockdown, I managed to get my hair cut. How about that? So it's a bit messy, just ignore me. I haven't done anything fluffing with it today, but hey, I'm just so happy to have it shorter, and it's only been a year. I've had, I think, 2 or 3 haircuts booked when we went into 3 of the 5 lockdowns, and I got in just before the 5th one. Whew. I suppose I should have taken a lottery ticket that day, shouldn't I? Because I was definitely riding my luck. Anyway, let's talk about motivation. Because when you're in lockdown, and when we've had a year, for any of us the way we have had, and all of the things that have gone on, and sort of reinforced, if anything, how completely lacking in control we are of our lives, because it doesn't take, well, it actually took quite a lot, but our lives can be disrupted hugely and we have no control over it. We just have to smile and go along with the whole thing, or not. But yeah, so motivation is something people often talk to me about and say, oh, you know, you really motivated me. And I always say, no, I haven't. You have motivated you. How you've done it may have been by watching me do something or somebody else do something, but you have actually grown that motivational muscle and you've actually got yourself moving, and that's entirely something you can take credit for. Because I know that in the past I've talked about, you know, the old thing that the power station doesn't have electricity, it generates it, and in order to generate energy you have to put in the right food and look after yourself and all of those things. Well, motivation is actually part of that bundle. Motivation is when you've looked after your health, so you're feeding yourself good food, you're moving as much as possible. Maybe all that means is you're doing a stretch in front of TV with a yoga class, you know, online. Hey, no complaints either way. Normally I would be out and walking. I'm not doing that today. If the rain stops I will, but it doesn't look like it's going to. So, you know, food, movement, stretching, and breathing, because we all forget to breathe. And I know all through my Pilates class, my trainer is always saying now, breathe, don't forget to breathe. And you think, what a silly thing to say. Of course I'm not going to forget to breathe, but you sort of do. We forget to breathe properly. You know, where you fill up your lungs and then you clear it all out. In yoga and in Pilates, you know, you do those sort of growly breaths that really expel all the used up sort of low grade air that we have in our lungs, and it spits it all out and it gets right to the bottom of your lungs and it exercises your lungs. Yes, I know, something else we need to exercise, and I'm an asthmatic anyway, so for me breathing has always been a big deal, and swimming has always been part of, well, when I've been really good at it, I've been good at managing my asthma. It means I've been good at swimming, good at moving, good at breathing. So motivation, you have that building, generating the energy. So you've got your energy there. Now, yeah, I know, but I can have energy without motivation. I know, but that's when you add in another piece. You add in this thing called passion or purpose, or even just a little bit of inspiration, and you go, okay, I need to do this, I want to do this. Sometimes you just need to, and it doesn't have to be big. I mean, it can be. It might be a big project like managing a downsize, and all of the steps that are involved in a huge process like that. Or it could be as simple as I was cooking and I realised I need to clean out my cutlery drawer and wash the things and wipe up the drawer and put everything back in again, all nice and fresh and clean. It can be as simple as that. But these are the things that help to pull you forward and feel, that makes you feel motivated. And once you've done one thing, then you see you have this thing called a motivation muscle. And just like any other muscle, when you use it, there you go, it gets stronger, and it does. It's not just sort of woo-woo stuff. This is real. You find yourself, I'm sure that most of you will have found yourself, if you've done one thing, you know, you've thought, oh, I've got to clean the bench before I go to bed. So you clean the bench, and then you go, oh, just wash out the sink, and you go, and you think, oh, I'll just get out the, you know, whatever you use, baking sodas, Barkeeper's Delight, whatever you use to clean your sink, and you know, and you give it a bit of a scrub. You go, oh, that's nice, that's washed down. Oh, hang on, I'll just wipe down the front of the fridge that had some fingerprints on it, and you do a little tidy up, and then you walk through the house and you just tidy up a few things as you go, fluff the cushions, all the rest before you go and have your shower or whatever you do before you go to bed. And so that's that little bit by little bit by little bit, and you think, oh, I actually got a few things done, didn't I? That was quite good. So you see what I mean? It's something, oh, hang on, that means it's cooked. Hey Google, stop. Back again, having been rudely interrupted by the timer telling me the meatloafs were done. Okay, where was I? Motivation. So you get the picture. You have to use your whatever goes into your body and whatever comes into your mind. So it's a real mind and body thing. You've got to have your physical energy and you've got to have your mental desire to do something. And yes, seeing other people working on something or doing something, yes, absolutely, that can trigger your own desire to do something purposeful, but it doesn't give you your motivation. You do that all by yourself. And Okay, that's me for the day. I'm going to go and show you these little meatloaves. I'm going to take them over to the kids, you know, these are adults. But later on, I'm going to finish my tea quickly and I'll show you the finished little meatloaves. There we go. Dear little things, aren't they? And if you've stayed this long, it's amazing, but give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, no pressure, just come along for the ride. And I hope that whatever you're doing, that you're having a lovely day somewhere, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!